Alright. Zeal to promote the common good, whether it be by devising anything ourselves or revising that which has been labored by others, deserves certainly much respect and esteem, but yet finds but cold entertainment in the world. It is welcomed with suspicion instead of love, and with emulation instead of thanks. And if there be any hole left for quibble to enter, and quibble, if it do not find a hole, will make one. It is sure to be misconstrued and in danger to be condemned. This will easily be granted by as many as know story or have any experience. For was there ever anything projected that saved any way of newness of renewing, but the same endured many a storm of gainsaying or opposition? A man would think that civility, wholesome laws, learning and eloquence, synods and church maintenance, that we speak of no more things of this kind, should be as safe as a sanctuary and out of shot. As they say that no man would lift up the hill, no, nor dog move his tongue against the motioners of them. For by the first we are distinguished from brute beasts led with sensuality. By the second we are bridled and restrained from outrageous behavior and from doing injuries, from whether by fraud or by violence. By the third we are enabled to inform and reform others by the light and feeling that we have attained to ourselves. Briefly, by the fourth being brought together to a parley face to face, we sooner compose our differences than by writings which are endless. And lastly, that the church be sufficiently provided for. It is so agreeable to good reason and conscience that those mothers are holden to be less cruel that kill their children as soon as they are born, than those nursing fathers and mothers, wherever they be, that withdraw from them who hang upon their breasts, and upon whose breasts again themselves do hang to receive the spiritual and sincere milk of the word, livelihood and support fit for their estates. Thus it is apparent but these things which we speak are of most necessary use, and therefore that none, either without absurdity, can speak against them, or without note of weakness can spurn against them. Yet for all that, the learned know that certain worthy men have been brought to untimely death for none other fault, but for seeking to reduce their countrymen to good order and discipline, and that in some commonwealths it was made a capital crime once to motion the making of a new law for the abrogating of an old, though the same were most pernicious, and that certain which would be counted pillars of the state and patterns of virtue and prudence could not be brought for a long time to give way to good letters and refined speech, but bore themselves as averse from them as from rocks or boxes of poison. And fourthly, that he was no babe but a great clerk, that gave forth and in writing to remain to posterity. In passion peradventure, but yet he gave forth that he had not seen any profit to come by any synod or meeting of the clergy, but rather the contrary. And lastly, against just maintenance and allowance, in such sort as the ambassadors and messengers of the great kings of kings should be furnished, it is not unknown what a fiction or fable, so it is esteemed, and for no better by the reporter himself, though superstitious was devised, namely that at such time as the professors and teachers of Christianity in the Church of Rome, then a true church, were liberally endowed, a voice forsooth was heard from heaven saying, now is poison poured out into the church, thus not only as often as we speak as one faith, but also as often as we do anything of note or consequence. We subject ourselves to everyone's censure, and happy is he that is least tossed upon tongues. For utterly to escape the snatch of them it is impossible. If any man concede that this is the lot and portion of the meaner sort only, and that princes are privileged by their high estate, he is deceived. As the sword devours as well one as the other, as it is in Samuel, nay, as the great commander charged his soldier in a certain battle to strike at no part of the enemy, but at a face, and as the king of Syria commanded his chief captain to fight neither with small nor great, save only against the king of Syria. So it is too true that envy strike more spitefully at the fairest and at the chiefest. David was a worthy prince, and no man to be compared to him for his first deeds. And yet, for as worthy an act as ever he did, even for bringing back the ark of God in solemnity, he was scorned and scoffed at by his own wife. Solomon was greater than David, though not in virtue, yet in power, and by his power and wisdom he built a temple to the Lord, such a one as were the glory of the land of Israel, and the wonder of the whole world. But was this magnificence liked of by all? We doubt of it. Otherwise, why do they lay it in his son's dish, and call to him for easing of the burden? Make, say they, the grievous servitude of your father, and his sore yoke lighter. Belike he had charged them with some levies, and troubled them with some carriages. Hereupon they raised up a tragedy, and wished in their heart the temple had never been built. So hard a thing it is to please all, even when we please God best, and do seek to approve ourselves to everyone's conscience. Alright, I have finished reading. Thank you.